Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 35 of All the Mods 3 Expert Mode, where I, once again, have a problem. Our tick time's not very good, zero 0.8 ticks per second. What happened was I was in the middle of, setting up my ME system, just moving machines down. Even just jumping is laggy. And one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to move my builder from the nether rather to Helheim so that I could have it, dig for this magma soaked cobblestone that I need, which apparently it's managed to dig 4,000 of so far. So to do so, I had to go to the nether and pick up that builder. But when I did so, loading the nether seems to have made it very, very unhappy with me. Specifically right here. The nether is taking up basically all of, our tick time. I mean, the overworld's taking up more than 50, but I'm pretty sure that's a side effect of everything being incredibly broken. And I'm like 100% sure it has something to do with the RF Tools builder, like the builder quarry. And going a little bit beyond that, I'm 90% sure, maybe, that's a made up number, but I'm reasonably confident that it has something to do with the fact that the builder, for whatever reason, is picking up fluids. It shouldn't do that. That's not what it does. I looked through the configs. I have no clue if what's causing it to behave this way. I don't know if it's like a pack specific config or a like this particular version of RF Tools that shipped with this pack. Like this version of the pack is broken, but right now I can't do anything in the game. I've tried restarting the server and the nether stays broken because it loads. So what I'm thinking I have to do is I have to go to the nether. Let's do that really quick. This will probably take a minute because loading into the nether can take a while now. Nope, we're in. So first of all, it's not the items from like this farm spilling out, right? All the items in this farm are being dumped into voided drawers, which are all full, by the way. But like there used to be a quarry here running, and something about that has broken because now, while I'm in here, it gets even worse. So I'm going to try to unclaim the nether. So if I don't chunk load these 2 chunks, the entire dimension should unload. In fact, unclaim all chunks of the nether, yes. And then I'll reclaim these just so that like nothing wonky happens. But nothing is chunk loaded. So if I head back home, I'm hoping that this will cause the entire dimension to be unloaded. Well, I'll give it a second. It takes, a couple ticks after you leave to unload. And a couple ticks at this point is, 30 seconds. That does seem to have done it. I did have to restart the server one more time. But now we can see the nether doesn't even show up in the list here, which means it's not loaded at all. I suspect if I ever go to the nether, I'll have to restart the server when I leave. So clearly this is a problem, but it's a later problem. So I'll deal with it later. Real quick, I just want to make sure that our builder in Helheim's working. The items, we might not see them show up here, but we should see more magma soaked cobblestone trickling in. Or not. Maybe I didn't load the chunk there. That's probably what it is. Indeed, I merely claimed the chunk. I did not chunk load it. So now that it's chunk loaded, this should be constantly mining this magma soaked cobblestone out. It says not enough power because it's only getting 20k per tick. Whatever. If it needs more than 20k a tick, it's just going to have to go without. And plus, I don't need like hundreds of thousands of these cobblestone pieces. Anyways, another thing I did between episodes was I crafted the wireless crafting terminal. I wanted to make the infinity card, but the infinity booster takes this wither essence has to be made in the crafting core, which we don't have yet. So right now, I still have to keep my storage tablet on me in case I need to use it interdimensionally. But within one dimension, there's no reason not to use the wireless crafting terminal because generally speaking, it's better. The big thing it does is it lets me access crafting recipes, right? So if I want to make, I don't know, an induction furnace. Right, I can just request it from here and find that I'm missing in-bar gears. Anyways, enough debugging for now. We'll call the problem fixed until I have to go to the nether for whatever reason. I've moved only a few of our machines down here. Stuff like, well, for each, the thermiotic fabricator is an interesting case because it has to, you know, save the recipe, which basically means for each thermiotic fabricator recipe, you need a machine, which isn't like the end of the world, but it does mean that we will need multiple thermiotic fabricators because if I recall, stuff like the advanced machine frames are made in this. I don't know, where's the show recipes button? Here it is. But yeah, stuff like the advanced machine frames, probably a few other things are made in this machine that we'll need to automate at some point. In other news, I set up another gas turbine here to power our EU consuming machines. There's a small thing to keep in mind here. So I'm outputting energy with a high voltage emitter, which is, you know, 512 EU a tick. However, these machines are inherently MV machines. So if you just plug an MV machine into a 512 EU a tick line, which I would call HV, but apparently HV is 2048 RF a tick, so I don't know what it actually is called. But if you just plug this machine in, it will explode. So make sure when I'm adding a new machine to this, I have to first, you know, lock out, tag out, put the machine down, put the transformer upgrade in, and then I can turn it back on. Cool. Hey buddy, you don't look like you're doing so well. Need some help there? You alright? Let me give you... No, let me not give you a hand. Are we lagging again? No, we good. Alright, well, you know what? Enjoy, buddy. Whatever makes you happy. Anyways, I've decided not to move this giant, whatever you call this machine, magnetic fabricator, just because it's already set up here. I already have, you know, all the supportive infrastructure here. All I did was I put a MB interface here with a recipe that 2 nocturnal powder makes 1 planet shards. I'm supplying all the other supplies passively, so stone dust obviously is just being made on site, and the cobblestone is being sent via an export bus. So if I need more planet shards, I can just order them. And this is something that, you know, I might use 1,000-ish throughout the entire pack. I can't autocraft nocturnal powder yet, so it's not something that I need, you know, constantly autocrafting so that I have hundreds of thousands on hand. But as you can see, it dumps the nocturnal powder in here, it gets put in here, and crafting ensues. The final product gets extracted, placed in another interface, and put back in the ME system. Alright, so for today's project, I would like to take that last step and turn planet shards into corrupted star metal. That's going to involve, I guess, let's first check out our will crystals, make sure we have enough just to use them. I think I hooked it up to our ME system. No, I didn't. What happened here? Alright, so we have a couple hundred of each. It's enough for now, but they do produce relatively slowly. That's alright. I see what happened. I started hooking it up to the ME system, but I never actually finished running the wire all the way over there. Alright, I'm just gonna run this wire all the way over then. So with our planet shards and will crystals taken care of, all that's left are star metal and corrupted starlight. Star metal is the easiest one. If I just batch craft 9 stacks of iron ore into 9 stacks of star metal ore, and then I forget how many this turns into, 2, right? It turns 1 to 2 in the arc furnace. I'm sure, well, there might be ways to do better. Can I sag mill it? Yeah, if I can sag mill it, then I can do better. But honestly, it's good enough. That's the easy one. So the difficult one, though, is this corrupted starlight. We have to craft these crystallized blood tiles, which take quite a bit of LP, and pixie dust, which has to be made from sunny quartz and mana pearls. I don't know if I want to just batch craft this, or if I want to automate it all. It's enough steps that it's like worth automating. Yeah, let's automate it. So I guess let's work from the ground up. Let's see. So we'll bookmark that, bookmark these. that. Alright, so step 1 is to turn nether quartz into mana quartz. Moving large amounts of mana around quickly is a sufficiently challenging task that it's easier just to do my crafting here where the mana is. So, make 64 mana quartz out of 64 nether quartz. I believe that's the recipe. And it's not 64. It says 64. Weird. Let's try it. So if I request 100, you should make 128. Puts it all in here, gets dropped. And then I have a filtered vacuum chest that picks it up. And that's 128 more than I started with, so I don't know why it says 32. But I'm just going to trust that it works and not worry about it. Cool. Next step, we have to turn that into sunny quartz. That needs an atomic reconstructor. Pretty straightforward atomic reconstructor setup here. The atomic reconstructor is on pulse mode. That block you see down there on the floor is an entity detector from, I think, random things. Let's see. Yep, the entity detector from random things. So it detects, it detects item entities, player entities, whatever. Underneath that, it's easier to show you, I guess, than to describe, is a timer. So when this detects an entity, it turns off, which causes a clock to turn on. That's what powers the laser, causes it to shoot once a second. And once we throw some items on there, we should be able to observe it at work. So we are making sunny quartz. Give me 100 of these. So items should, whoopsies. Oh, that's my magnet sealing items, huh? Let's put a Solgania here. And since we're limited, our practical limit in how fast this process works is by energy insertion rate into the atomic reconstructor. I'm plugging into it on 3 sides. Actually, I think I should plug into our power cell on multiple sides too, so that doesn't become our limiting factor. And it's, I guess, our input rate into the power cells also limit while I'm running my quarry. Whatever, I'll turn that quarry off soon enough. I mean, we can check how much of that cobblestone we have, but I doubt we'll need more than like 10,000, and we have a full drawer of it, so I guess that's 10,000. Technically, you should have a spacesuit to go to. Oh, I need levels. All right, fine. I'll put my spacesuit on when I get my levels. Ooh, lots of hostile mobs here now. I'm just going to turn this off and unload the chunk. I'll leave it claimed. Technically, you should have a spacesuit when you come here, but if you come here without a spacesuit, like, it won't kill you instantly. It'll kill you eventually. Or it'll not detect that you took your spacesuit off and you'll be fine. One or the other. The next step is Elven trade. So we have to trade sunny quartz and mana pearls for pixie dust. So that's the recipe in here. This ME interface pushes items into this ME interface, which is on a subnet. If you have an arrow pointing on an interface, it says don't transmit channels in that direction. So even though these are touching, they're on different networks. Likewise, energy is passed around this way, but there's a quartz fiber there. That's what this subnet can just dump all its items into a formation plane. And I want dropped as items mode. So that sends it into the portal to be traded. When they come out, they get sucked into a vacuum chest and put back into the ME interface to be put in our main network. So let's request some pixie dust. Sure, 100. So I'll have to make some mana pearls, which it does. Oh, I have to add mana pearls to our whitelist here as well. There we go. And then you see items being tossed out there. I should also plant a Solgania here. There you go. And then pixie dust gets sucked into here when it gets traded back. Alright, that puts us one step closer to crystallized blood piles. Next, we need to dump the pixie dust into a blood altar to do the crafting. There's 2 ways we can do it. We can either reuse our existing blood altar, which is easy because it exists. However, to do so means that I need some way to automatically handle my blood orb. If I take my blood orb out for too long, I just run out of LP in my life network. In fact, if I take my seer sigil out, right now, because my blood orb is inside, I expect it'll be full at 10 million, but it only takes like, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 hours to drain all 10 million LP out of this while I'm running these, all of these, whatchamacallit, rituals. If we look now, our sigil, you know, we've already drained 5,000. Wait, is that, if that's 5,000? Yeah, we've drained 5,000 already in the last like 10 seconds. So I can't just leave my orb out of here for too long. So I'm thinking I might just make a second altar. I don't know, let me think about this one. Looking at the items that get made in the blood altar, I think there's only like 2 of them that we'll need to autocraft in any significant quantity. And those are the... Ooh, wait, draconium ingot test. There's no other way to make draconium except in the blood altar? So I guess that makes 3 items we'll be crafting in a significant quantity. Although maybe that's enough to change my mind. I was going to say it's really just luminescence and these crystal... or not crystal clusters, the crystallized blood piles that we're going to craft in any significant quantity. And at that point, I can just use 1 altar. But the fact that draconium is made in here, and we'll be needing a ton of draconium. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I mean, is there any pack that doesn't, you know, that has Draconic Evolution that doesn't use a lot of draconium? I guess given that, I think that's enough to push me over the edge and say we should just build a second altar for crafting, and then we'll leave this altar for blood orb business. Just a matter of, do I build it down here? I mean, I left all this space open for a reason, right? Let's tuck our second altar down here. Thankfully, the second altar is a lot easier to build than the first one. The way game stages is used to stage like the gadgets, the building gadgets, means that I can never craft them in these auto crafting terminals, like neither the wireless crafting terminal nor the storage terminal, because the terminal itself doesn't have the appropriate game stage. Like it says it requires gadgets. I don't know, it's really annoying. It bothers me that game stages are used in a way that, I mean, I guess it does stage this recipe technically, because you couldn't build it like in age 1 when you normally could. However, it's staged, well, what is it staged to? 1? Tier 2. But like, you don't really have, I mean, I guess you do generate RF halfway through stage 1. I don't know, you don't really, like, it doesn't really stage when you get access to the item. It just makes it really annoying to craft. But here it is. My plan is to just, at least if it works, try to copy, how does this, I want you in copy mode. I want to copy, you know, this entire structure to the basement and basically just make an entire clone of it. How does this positioning look? It's tucked right up against the corner. The copy paste gadget does not actually paste or copy or paste tile entities, so stuff like the blood altar itself, the master ritual stone get excluded, but that's fine. I mean, the ritual stones it pastes will be of the wrong type as well, like it won't color them, so I'll have to fix that after the fact, but I think this gives us a good start. I also will probably use just a different set of runes here, so I left all the runes out as well. I do need 4 beacons though. I guess it didn't paste those either, but 4 beacons are easy enough to make. I hope I don't run out of nether stars, because I don't want to have to go back to the nether to get more skulls. I wonder, if I have all the ritual stones in the right place, just not the right color, it does work. I've always wondered if it can just, you know, color the runes instead of place them. Turns out the answer is yes. So let's get our activation crystal and start you up. How did that hurt me? I guess I got hit by lightning. Anyways, now I just have to build out the, you know, altar with all the runes. For this altar, I went with just a bunch of sacrifice and speed runes, nothing else. Because I'm only crafting, you know, certain items in that, I don't think I really need capacity. We'll see. If that changes, I'll just put some capacity runes in. The mobs I'm spawning are these magma slimes, just because that's the disturbed mob spawner I had on hand. So, yeah. I think another advantage of magma slimes is that each one, generally speaking, gets a die multiple times, right? Like the big slime dies and then it splits into medium slimes, which die, and splits into small slimes, which die. So I think it might actually be extremely efficient. Now all I have to do is just hook up our, ME system to this. Notice something pretty weird. Have bats always dropped leather in Minecraft? I didn't think so, right? But come on, bat, let me kill you, please. Don't embarrass me like this. There we go. Yeah, they're dropping leather in this pack. I noticed at first because some bats were flying close to our ritual here and getting killed, and like I kept getting leather in my inventory. I was like, what's that coming from? Eventually I figured out it was a bat. So either, for some reason, bats in this pack drop leather, or they've always dropped leather and I'm completely crazy. One or the other. It's hooked up. We have our recipe here. 1 pile out of 1 pixie dust. So let's try it. We're going to need a fair number of these. Let's craft 100. It's going to try to craft all 100 at a time, which I guess it's keeping... No, the altar is empty from time to time. That's telling me that I need either more sacrifice... Oh, wait. There. Oh, I forgot to filter the extract. Hold on. So in addition to actually filtering the extract... well, I guess I filtered the... Yeah, this is the output side of the altar. So in addition to setting a filter there, I also put in some augmented capacity runes, just so that our altar capacity is a little higher. That should smooth out any, like, how do I describe it? Any, because our mob spawning isn't 100% consistent, it should smooth out those bumps a little bit and make it more likely anyways that we can craft these blood-soaked piles, or what are they called? Crystallized blood piles, without the crafting going backwards. Basically, as long as the altar is never empty, then we can craft, right? Then we're not making backwards progress. Looks like I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but it does look like our sacrifice is more or less enough. Now, because I'm crafting a whole stack at a time, it's going to take, if you look in the upper left-hand corner there, that is just about 2 million LP to do it all. But it's going to take 2 million LP whether you do them one at a time or all of them at a time. So, there's no harm in doing them all at a time if you can generate LP fast enough, which we can. The next step is to drop our crystallized blood piles into liquid starlight to turn them into corrupted starlight. So I just snagged our liquid starlight drum from our astral sorcerer area. I put a new drum up there to keep collecting again, but I mean, this is what, just under 2,000 buckets, which produces at 2.5 buckets each, something like 800-900 pieces of corrupted star metal. I highly doubt we're going to need that many, even at 1 per draconic core. That's really the only thing that uses them in tremendous numbers. Everything else it's more or less like a one-off, or, we're going to need a couple loot fabricators, not a couple hundred loot fabricators. So this is probably enough starlight for all of our needs. But we just need a system where we take this, we have a fluid placer of some sort, a fluid picker-upper of some sort, and I guess that's it. This is like the 5th open crate I've used today. Anyways, the way this system works is we have a export bus sending crystallized blood piles to a open crate. I'll probably want to control this with a fluid level emitter that monitors the level of this drum. But anyways, our raw starlight comes from this drum, gets placed into a fluid placer, which places it in the world. The open crate drops the blood piles into it, which then get picked up into this drum here. It's filtered using a annihilation plate. Well, it's filtered on the storage bus side, but an annihilation plate on a subnet effectively acts as a filter. And yeah, it drops the blood piles faster than the fluid placer can actually place fluid, but the blood piles stick around for 5 minutes, so they're not going to despawn. And they also take forever to craft, right? It takes, 2 million LP to make 64 of them. So we're never going to have so many at a time that they're going to despawn. So I'm not worried about that. Anyways, this makes our corrupted starlight. So let me put a level emitter on this real quick, and then we can take the last step of combining the corrupted starlight with everything else to make corrupted star metal. While it is probably possible to make while it's definitely possible to make the corrupted star metal ingot in the same magmatic fabricator that you make your planet shards in, I don't think it's worth the hassle. They have to deal with using exact amounts of fluid because the machine only has a single fluid input hatch. And so if you have any fluid for one task left over, you can't, start the next one. It's more trouble than it's worth, so I'm just going to build a second one of these. Because I'm supplying the fluid for this recipe with an export bus, I don't need to include it in the pattern, which is good because you can't actually directly include fluids in Applied Energistics patterns. So we'll put our pattern in here, and we should be good to request some corrupted star metal. If I plug my interface in. Let's try that again. Anytime now, A2. There we go. All right, let's start with 1. So that should... Not enough energy, you say. No. Apparently plugging things in is not my strong suit today. There we go. Processing. And then when it's done, it should pop out here and get sent back to the AE system. So here comes our first piece of corrupted star metal. And still sitting in here. All right, what did I do wrong? Extract blue. You didn't see that. Haha! That should be the end of Tier 5. Now we have all the fun stuff of Tier 6. Looking at our Tier 6 quest lines, there's 3 of them. I'll go from left to right because that seems to be the order of least to most painful. We have nuclear craft stuff with the ultimate goal of putting me in a bucket. Then we have mostly Draconic Evolution stuff, although it says max tier Blood Altar, but I already have the Beacon tier Blood Altar. I think it wants us to make the Tier 6 Blood Altar, not the Tier 5 one. So another misleading quest. I have a feeling we'll be running into a few of those. And then we have the least favorite thing in the world for me, bees. Bees. But by the sounds of things, I think we can do bees with the Gendustry mod right off the bat. We don't have to like breed bees using the vanilla way ever, which is literally torture, I think. So yeah, I'm glad that we get to use Gendustry for it. But I think these are challenges for another day. For now, I'm going to be happy that we have our corrupted star metal and we are out of Tier 5, which means we never have to do advanced rocketry again. Ha ha ha! Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.